Got to come up with a custom intro for this. Thanks, Charles. Was the button. I was talking. Anyways, hope everybody had a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving with their loved ones. I know we did in my household, making up for some lost time there. It's like not like LVO was in October, but yeah, the fall season has typically always been a busy one, work related wise. But this year, got to take a little bit of time off. At least some of us did. We have been pretty dang busy with Black Friday. Yeah, that's absolutely a thing. Black Friday for us, huge sales event of the year for us. Every year, it's basically like the only time we do as deep discounts as we do on Frontline Gaming. So we did up to like 35% off on accessories, like 25% off on mats, terrain, and even launched our new FLG tournament series terrain, which is that high density cardboard line that's built specifically for events in mind, but also just with portability and functionality, makes things like really convenient for that factor. Plus, it's very economically priced. So thank you all for shopping with us this Black Friday. If you did put an order in, if there was like a mat that you were waiting on to go on sale, or even like any of the new accessories that we come up with. Speaking of which, the line lasers, man, the line laser ultra, this thing is like a friggin' lightsaber, and yeah, it's been really popular. I'm like, there's no way that I'm gonna be able to show it on screen, but yeah, this line laser has been really good. I remember seeing it at LVO because that's when we debuted the product. And I just remember seeing like this, it looked like a lightsaber show in certain sections, because when you have like 4 or 5 people messing around with one, it beams pretty far if you haven't seen one. Yeah, so that's about it. The next thing you know, we'll be up into the Christmas holidays, and then it'll be 2026, which is insane. So I've been living in the future myself, just because we have been very ahead of the game when it comes to our FLG events calendar. So I would say with confidence that all the upcoming event releases and news has been made available the soonest ever, really. So just recapping and looking at this calendar, we have our entire 2026 season available to view. So it's pretty crazy. Literally seeing everything and planning for everything. I've even got 3 of the events lined up and date confirmed for 2027. So again, this is how I'm like looking into the future at this point. But yeah, it's really cool. So up and coming. And of course, the first event that we are going to talk about today is the Las Vegas Teams Tournament. So it's been a few years since we've actually ran this event. For those of you who remember, we hosted it at the Palace Station back in 2022. I think it was 2022. Pretty sure it was 2022. But since then, it's the calendar got shuffled around. But once the January slot opened up for us, it was a perfect opportunity based off of everybody like really really wanting us to bring that event back, because it was definitely a fan favorite, super fun, 40K team play. Yeah, January was just the perfect slot to fit in for there. But what was more exciting was the collaboration that we were able to start with the NTL and ATC. Very, very cool guys over there. Very like-minded people, have thoroughly been enjoying and collaborating on things together, and got some surprises in the store. That's definitely for sure coming up for 2026. So yeah, so definitely some exciting stuff. And while the format for LVTT is not specifically, like not entirely ATC format, it's pretty much ATC format for the 5-person teams. So if you haven't checked out already, the player packet's been live and up. And for team captains, or even like anybody that's attending LVTT, please do tell your captains if they haven't filled out the team registration form, you're going to want to do that as soon as possible. So there's about 20. I think last I saw there were 20 teams, or at least team captains, that filled out the form and uploaded their logos. That is very critical to do if you guys want your team banners printed, because that does come with every single ticket. So yeah, nudge your team captains or whoever your ticket holder is to go ahead and fill out that form. Expect another email reminder to go out. And yeah, let's just get that form filled out, guys. But yeah, in more exciting news, and very, very exciting news for LVTT, we are officially sold out as of this morning. 50 teams, guys. 50 teams. Now there's a wait list happening. Speaking of which, how do you sign up for a wait list? So you just go to the ticket itself on our web cart. So let's say you want to wait for a high roller ticket. What you want to do is click the notify me when available. So you can do phone, email, however you want to do. And this will generate a wait list. This will generate a wait list to us. And unfortunately, this isn't a venue, because this isn't a venue that we can just simply like add more tickets for, or tables for. So we actually have a hard cap at this one at 50 teams. So that is 250 people that are coming to Las Vegas for this team's event. But yeah, the wait list. So the only opportunity a ticket would then become available is going to be if a team is last minute unable to make it or drop off, or simply just want to sell their ticket. But yeah, sign up for that wait list, and that pretty much goes for all events. Always is if you happen to miss the ticket purchasing window and we sell out of for an event, go ahead and sign up for notifications or stock notifications. And what our system does is I will automatically notify you as soon as we upload inventory in. So a big one is always, of course, LVO. So once tickets are, it's almost always, but like once tickets start selling out, you are going to want to sign up for those notifications. But yeah, guys, 50 teams, couldn't be more excited. This is definitely one of my most favorite events that I've ever participated as a patron of FLG events. I was ambitiously trying to actually like participate in this one and actually play alongside everybody, but that's not a good idea. Not yet. We're just now starting to get everything like improved within the event scene. But you'll see myself there. You'll see Mike, our road warrior. That's Mike Gandalfo, as well as Jorge, who's a newer addition, no stranger to FLG, but a newer addition to the FLG events team. Yeah, so you'll see us all there, hands on deck. A couple of the guys from the office will be there as well. So we'll do it. Charles says LVO was great and I love the new venue. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Charles. Couldn't agree more. So the LVO took place at the Expo Center at World Market Center, and to the side of that, or to the side building. So basically it's like let's call it a 3-minute walk the big tower, the World Market Center tower, and the world view or the sky view is going to take place on, what was it, like the 20s? I think it's like the 26th floor. So you'll actually have like a full panorama of the city. Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. Yeah, but the Skyview Terrace is just, it's awesome. Yeah, here we go. The world view. There we go. Yeah. So we've got our very own access to our bar up there. Well, not doing like a banquet or concert, but this is the view from this room at night. So you literally get like a panoramic view of everything. Yeah, super cool venue. But this would be the first time we're running an event specifically here. But naturally, we've worked with the World Market Center itself before, so not too worried about that. But yeah, with 50 teams. Okay, so again, we're just keeping this specific to LVTT, or at least this segment first. The first thing you'll want to do is make sure that your team captain or ticket holder registers using the form that was sent out, and expect another one to go out for today, or for later today. Actually, what I'm gonna send it out right after this live stream. But yeah, fill out the registration form. Again, that is how we can get your logo file, because every team ticket does come with a team banner for you to take home after the event concludes. And especially for those that got the high roller team tickets, it comes with a bunch of other swag, including like custom team logoed swag as well. So if we don't have your logo, unfortunately, we can't print your logo. But yeah, go ahead and fill that out. And then pretty much the only other thing after that is going to be to register your team into Best Coast Pairings. So into Best Coast Pairings itself using your unique code. Let me get this one back up. So you can already see we've got the LVTT up in BCP. And awesome. All right. So we got 20 more teams remaining to go ahead and fill this out. Yeah, so this is pretty much the second step. And then once lists, oh, look at that, we've already got like lists coming in. But yeah, upload your lists according to the date in the player packet, and you're pretty much good to go. So this would be super duper exciting stuff. So that's pretty much it. But it all comes down to, it really does come down to the form, though. The form is crucial, guys. Okay, very, very crucial. Please fill that out, because we don't want to not be able to print your swag out. Yeah, exciting stuff. We'll have the pairing cards also supplied to every single team. As I believe we're actually doing like the pairing, not custom pairing mats for every team, but we'll have some of our generic like pairing mats available as well. Or at least you know what? I'm getting confused. I'm getting my facts confused on this one. I believe the NTL might actually provide theirs. But either way, they'll be there. The cards for sure, pairing cards. You don't have to use ours, of course. I know a lot of teams like to use their own faction cards and stuff. But as far as like matchmaking and mission selection, we'll have those cards. But yeah, guys, LVTT. That's pretty much it. We just got to get everyone registered. It's going to be a super fun event. Venue's going to be awesome. Drinks are going to be flowing, and just an overall good time. But yeah, so anybody listening out there, if you aren't able to make it, we just reach out to us. And if your team does have to back out, or if you're a mercenary still looking to jump onto a team, just reach out to us. Email is probably the best, just through any sort of contact form that we have on our events, such as on the events hub. Sorry, I had almost deviated from my train of thought there. But yeah, we can link you up with either a team that might be looking for a player, or has a drop, or looking to just essentially like put together a team. We absolutely can help with that. But yeah, guys, shortly after that, well, not that short, but our first big regional event for 2026 will then be the Cherokee Open. I really love this one. I really love this one a lot. On paper, I think I told this story the last time we were talking about Cherokee, where it's, it seems like it's so difficult to get to just based off of like the flight route. I highly suggest, if you're flying in from the West Coast side of things, to come in from or to fly into Atlanta, sorry, seems to be the best overall, because that's what we do. So we'll fly into Atlanta airport, and then we'll rent a car and just drive up together, up to the Harrah's Casino Resort. But once you get there, it's so magical. It's so whimsical. It's a lot of fun. Really, really, really gorgeous venue. Like, it's massive as well. They have a lot of awesome restaurants. I think where did we go to? Which steakhouse did we go to last time? Was it Gordon Ramsay's? I forget. I think it was Gordon Ramsay's. For some reason I'm getting the Atlantic City trip confused as well. Probably because both of them had a Gordon Ramsay's. But yeah, the dining options are awesome. There's like literally like almost everything all included, like everything all included for at the resort. Like, there's just a lot of options to go through. But yeah, Cherokee is always a lot of fun. For 40K specifically, it's definitely got like a big turnout. I think we were a hair under 300 40K players for last year, but we have a very good variety of events as well. So other events, that is. But yeah, exciting stuff for 40K as well. As Spaceman 3000 just said, is that we are graciously being granted a free 40K ticket to the Nova Open for the winner of our 40K champs. So big thanks to Nova Open for providing that, supporting us, and that's, truly what this community is all about. Like, we love working with other events and collaborating and just kind of, being one body, if you will. But yeah, big thanks to Nova Open for providing that. And yeah, to now not only do you get a chance at 2 GW golden tickets at Cherokee Open, because one goes to best overall, which is Paragon, and the other one goes, of course, like the first place best general. But now the best general will also get a free ticket to the Nova Open. So the plot thickens. No, it's a lot of fun though. And yeah, if you did play last year, the 8 rounds I know was a little bit tough on some people, but the sweet spot seems to be the 7 round GTs. I personally really like a 7 round. So what that will mean for this year, since it is a 3-day event, it'll be 3 rounds on day 1 for 40K, and 2 rounds Saturday, and 2 rounds on Sunday. So this gets you out of there on time so you can go have some fun. I think it's an important part. I really think like the after hours festivities and just hanging with the homies, with the teams, that's what makes events memorable. So think about that. It's going to be a much more comfortable schedule. You can even sleep in a little bit on Friday night, sleep in a little bit for Sunday morning, and before you know it, the event will be over. But yeah, we've got a lot of cool stuff happening at Cherokee. We've got Old World that joined the circuit for the first time. So so we'll have Old World champs there. That the TO on that is Dylan Mosby. So he's very familiar within the Old World community. He's helped run and put together the Bay Area Open with him and his crew. But since he's kind of moved across country, we're super excited to have Dylan, a Old World, or let's call it an FLG events veteran, come and run and debut the Old World champs at Cherokee for the first time ever. And speaking of new events too, we've also got MCP joining up. That's being ran by Will Frost. So yeah, MCP and Old World joining us for the first time this year. Last year it was Kill Team being ran for the first time, and which did really well. We've got the space, we've got the tables. Cherokee, I think it's gonna be a big one. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet for Cherokee, don't be in the situation that some might be for LVTT and potentially have a sellout. Just grab those tickets. And don't forget, we got the discounted room block, as we do for most events that are connected to a hotel. So yeah, take advantage of that and see you in Cherokee. In more immediate news, so the last event we're going to be talking about here is going to be the Rocky Mountain Open. So RMO, we've had a little bit of a shuffle here. For all you West Coasters or local Coloradans. I don't know. Someone help me out with that. But anyways, for all the locals and anybody that attends the Rocky Mountain Open, you'll be excited to hear that we have been working on a venue change. So massive upgrade. It's going to be held at the Marriott Denver Tech Center in Denver proper itself. More space for sure. I mean, space is relatively like harder to come by in Denver in general, but we've got more space, so we're not limited to however the fairgrounds configuration was, which allows us to expand. There's always a lot of demand specifically for space at RMO, and you know we most certainly outgrew that particular fairgrounds footprint. But there's so many more creature comforts here at the Marriott Denver Tech Center. It's a massive improvement, and thankfully we were able to retain the pricing on everything, because the difference between venues like this is, yeah, we're on the hook for stuff like, you know, how much food and drink gets consumed, for instance. But it also comes with a lot of inclusions like tables and audio, video gear, like all these little things that polishes an event experience is what we're actually able to get access to for this year. So yeah, we'll have a hotel room block up for that. And yeah, tickets will go on sale on Tuesday. So I know a lot of people come back and listen to these. But Tuesday, December 9th is when Rocky Mountain Open tickets will go on sale. Mind you, we're not late. We're not late to the game on this one because typically RMO has taken place in March, but it will be May 2nd this year. Charles Matt says, also love the May time period. Better for the weather? Absolutely. So I keep saying last year, again, living in the future, but the last RMO, the last RMO earlier this year, being in March, you never know. I mean, I'm no stranger to Denver and Colorado, and just, you know, the whiplash of weather that you can experience out there. Like, it could just be snowing at any given time. But the further off you go, the nicer the weather. I think we might even see some like trees bloomed. I don't know. Maybe that's too ambitious. Nah, I want to see some trees bloom. Just like in Cherokee, like I can only imagine like what that resort looks like with the Smoky Mountains forest surrounding it when it's actually like all, you know, full blown summer fall weather. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. The May date, you know, it's far enough after Adepticon, just like Cherokee is far enough before Adepticon and kind of is nestled in right in between the two. So it's far enough from that, but then it's also got like a decent enough gap to our next West Coast event, which is the Bay Area Open. So I would say BAO and RMO for the most part is has a pretty like regional, like local turnout. So they're not entirely affected by much, but obviously logistics is affected on our side. If we made the date too close to one another, you know, that wouldn't be very nice to Mr. Mike Gandolfo, who would have like next to no time for recovery because, yeah, maybe some of you guys don't know this, but we actually do drive and truck our own stuff, our events inventory all around the country. And, you know, got these two big long hauls coming up between February with the Cherokee Drive. So yes, guys, Mike is personally driving all our events inventory over from Vegas to North Carolina, from Vegas to Atlantic City, from Vegas to Texas for Lone Star. But yeah. So yeah, give you know, if you didn't know that bit of information, give old Mike a high five whenever you see him, because that's why we call him the Road Warrior. Brian says, yeah, brutal. Jake is a beast. Fair. You're a beast. Beast is good, right? But yeah, guys, RMO, super excited for that. Heavily how RMO started was it was basically like a community driven event, um, with a lot of local help coming in from Denver 40K Fight Club, specifically Brandon Roddy, who's been a huge integral part to RMO, as well as the 5280 Legion for the Star Wars side of things and kind of like all things AMG. And yeah, it's an awesome event, and I can't wait for the new venue. So while it's a familiar event, applying it at a new venue still just we'll figure some things out. But the better or the good news is that it is an absolute overall improvement from the fairgrounds venue that we had. Yeah, absolutely. What is next after RMO? I guess a quick recap on the calendar. I believe we mentioned it. Yeah. Anyways, what's after that? You can expect BAO, which is towards the end of May. You've got Atlantic City, which is the weekend before Father's Day this year. So Atlantic City Open in June. Then you will have Lone Star Open, which ended up being over 600 attendees. So we broke that record. We broke that record in 2025 with over 600 attendees for Lone Star Open. That would be in August. We also pushed that one back a little bit by a weekend, so that it's actually the weekend before the local school district starts. And LVO, of course, in October. And that's pretty much the calendar year, guys. This is why I'm already living in 2027, because I'm already thinking about 2027 stuff. Not 2028 quite yet, but I don't want to do that for the time being. LVO tickets. Speaking of LVO tickets, tickets are going to be available in April. We've got all that listed on the Events Hub, just as a reminder. Brian asks, for 40K, what's the effect 11, or what effect is 11th edition going to have? I think it's going to change everything. So truthfully, like we don't have the insider information or the insider track on that. Yeah, even if we did, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be allowed to to share it. But it seems like it's going to be a pretty big shakeup. So naturally, the calendar is where I can speak on as far as like how that's going to affect our season. But I'm like 99% confident here that the new edition the new edition will drop after Atlantic City for us. So that would mean that the LVO, of course, would be most definitely part of 11th edition. And I actually really like that timeline in regards to our event calendar. So then we'll have Atlantic City Open, which would be the last large East Coast event for 10th edition. So that would be in June. And then the edition would drop. And then there'd be like a month to kind of learn it. And then in August, so in early August, then we'll have like a really, really large Texas event, which is Lone Star Open. And so that'll be like the first big South / Midwest regional area for 11th edition. And then we'll have LVO. So there's actually I think that's a really, really cool timeline. And then Warhammer Worlds will then close out the ITC season in November. So it just kind of works out. It's really nice. I'm pretty excited for 11th edition myself. I've heard chatterings, but I'm the kind of person where until we see something, things can change. So we'll see what happens. But always excited for a new edition, especially for 40K in particular. And I think it's going to be a nice shakeup. I think the 3 years that was 10th is plenty. It's sufficient, if you will. They did such a good job, in my opinion, with how they cleaned up the things that they cleaned up for this edition. So genuinely curious as to how they're going to expand on it for 11th, because with an edition change, it's going to be a shakeup. This is typically when the whole game itself changes. Hence the edition. Even for like the AOS side of things, I think they're expecting some changes. And, even old rules got some changes coming up for next year. A lot of changes. That's okay. Changes, change in this case is for the better. Whether it's a good change or not a good change, it's a shakeup. And Brian, yes, the LVO Las Vegas Las Vegas weekend, Las Vegas Open will almost always moving forward fall within like the first weekend of October. For 2026 specifically, it's October 1st. Is how it landed. But yeah, it nestles in quite nicely there, but plus minus, it might just move up or down a weekend or so. But for the most part, it'll always be aiming to be in October. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if there's any other questions, guys, well, I just kind of ramble here and remind everybody that if you would like us to cover anything in particular, like a topic of sorts, if you want more targeted content, for instance, like last episode, and forgive me for the holiday schedule, it hasn't been every Friday week. I think ended up missing one of the weeks due to Thanksgiving, maybe two of them. But either way, during the last live stream, I was here talking about the changes to our hobby and paint rubric and what that means to you, what battle ready really means. If you do want to check that out, it's pre-recorded, or sorry, it's recorded after these. So these always get recorded afterwards, so you can always access it. I'm happy to do more targeted content like that. I actually plan to do definitely one-off, more dialed in and specific content. Maybe one of these days I'll even like paint alongside you guys on, I don't know, maybe I can't multitask the two. But yeah, if there are any specific subjects you guys would like to be covered on a live, and of course, like it's going to be more active and it's going to be a lot more relevant as we lead up to events. So we were pretty far out, all things considered, but I'm sure everybody's going to have a lot more questions the week or the Friday before LVTT or the next Friday. But yeah, like leading up to stuff like that, it's always going to be hot, but all throughout the year. I mean, that's the whole reason why I wanted to make this platform available for our community. Was there's always stuff to talk about. That's the truth. There's always stuff to talk about when it comes to our event circuit. So yeah, but could always use your guys' input and feedback. Brian asks, can I cover kit bashing for next season? Could you elaborate on in what regards, like getting it approved for events or just kit bashing in general? Because if it's kit bashing in general, I will admit, painting, I would say my forte. Kit bashing and conversions and stuff, I've never really like done that. I can't say I've never really done that. I've actually done that quite a bit more so for like proxy conversions or just to make a model that I didn't really like the stock pieces, look as cool without the conversion. For approval for events. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm actually happy to cover it in basic right now. Yeah, because we still are good on time. I try to keep these around the 40-minute mark. Majority of the times for conversion approvals, how our judges look at those are based off of the rules, a combination between like rules, so like model scale rules, as well as how identifiable it is. Like if you were to convert your own Wraith Knight, as long as it looks like what it's supposed to be, and the footprint and the bits and the model itself is identifiable as a Wraith Knight, for instance, then you're more than likely just going to get approved. If you start kit bashing bits and pieces and just things that make it look like it gets very confusing, that's typically when our judge team has an issue with it. And it happens in rare cases, like, reasonably speaking, judges aren't out there to make players' lives more difficult. But for instance, it would apply like here's a more extreme case scenario. If you had an entire Death Guard army and everything was like, proxied, if you will, or like custom 3D, proxies, that's a big ask when nothing looks like, the models that they're supposed to be. Um, but yeah, and more specifically to the WYSIWYG, and this is partially what I mean by I think the edition itself, this 10th edition, has done such a good job in cleaning up rules and making the hobby more accessible, is kind of like let's call it like the universal weapons. This is meaning like your specific models can be equipped with a more generic term for, like, Death Guard being a great example, like a plague weapon. Okay, well, that can be like any of those, for instance. Um, but again, for the WYSIWYG, typically it's not a problem, even if you're not entirely like fully WYSIWYG. But put it this way: always think of it as, are you modeling for advantage? So if you have like a squad of 10, insert whatever, 10 any models, and 3 of them can have custom weapons, right? So if you're WYSIWYG'd with 3 different custom weapons, then you can always identify, hey, that's a rocket launcher guy, that's a flamethrower guy, that's a multi-melta guy. But if you were proxying and kit bashing there, and you made like all 3 of them look the same, that could be considered an advantage, where it's like you change your mind mid. I'm not saying it's intentional, but what could happen is, like, if you can't recognize which one was your rocket launcher, multi-melta, so on and so forth, then how is your opponent going to know that? And that's typically where WYSIWYG, or at least disapprovals or issues with WYSIWYG, come into place. But half the time, I mean, I'll admit this again. This is probably I think if Adam's watching, he'd probably kill me, because rules is written for player packing conversion stuff. Yeah, it's got to be WYSIWYG. But half the time, like, even players ourselves have a hard time identifying like what weapons what. Eldar is one of my prime armies. I'll tell you this: I've been playing Eldar consistently since halfway through 9th edition. Okay, when I'm like kitting like a vehicle up, or like magnetizing weapons, for instance, I still have to look up what weapon is what. Be it like a bright lance versus a star cannon. Well, that's probably a bad example because those look unique, but even so, like, gun to my head, I couldn't tell you what gun is what gun all the time. So that's kind of a good rule of thumb to have, is just asking yourself for WYSIWYG, like, am I modeling for advantage, or am I doing something, to that could be confusing? Yeah. Let's put this one up on screen. Yep. That's an icon. That's an iconic scene right there. Glowing screen against Adam's face. Yep. Man, Nurgle Matthew really is everywhere. His love is everywhere. And that's right. Speaking of Cherokee Open, Nurgle Matt, we're going to see him there. I'm actually really happy to have happy to have you there, Nurgle Matt. I'm pretty sure you've never been to the Cherokee Open, but to have you there as a judge this time. And if you guys don't know, Nurgle Matt's on point as a 40K judge. All right, guys. Well, time to wrap this up. Because we're going into Friday. Hopefully some of you guys have some Friday shenanigans. I know I don't. Wait, do I? I don't know. Gotta ask my wife. I'm pretty sure I don't. But yeah, guys, if there's ever questions or topics that we can answer for you here, feel free to reach out. I should probably link something up to the Events Hub itself, to even do like a quick form submission for questions. I think that's a good idea. That's a good idea. But yeah, any suggestions on content, I'm always all ears. I typically base these types of any kind of like media segment based off of like what is being consistently like asked. So that's where we usually choose the topics for these. But yeah, thank you all for joining me this week, keeping me company, asking some questions, and reminding me about Adam's squinting face. Um, yeah. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll catch you guys later.